Running for your life is not as exciting as it looks in the movies. And it's not something I ever expected to do, especially since I'm only 12. Well, almost 13. But that doesn't make it any better. I never thought that being the spokesgirl for the Riley Mae outdoor shoe collection would totally mess up my life. I suppose if I had thought about it a little more carefully, I would not have begged my parents to sign that rotten 2-year contract. Mom always says that I failed to think things through, but this time I really tried. I thought it would be fun to be famous. I thought it would be great to wear new shoes all the time. I thought it would be interesting to travel to new places. But even in a million years, I never would have thought it would get me in this much trouble. So, your real name is Daniel Stevens? I squinted at the guy sitting across the aisle from me in the private jet. Just a day ago, I thought his name was Flip Miller, my silly photographer from Swiftriver Shoes. A guy who wears wrinkly clothes and eats stale leftovers from his pants pockets. Yeah, but you can still call me Flip. And you're rich? He pushed his cushy seat back into a reclining position. I guess you could say that. And that's why you can sponsor all those kids from other countries, right? It all makes sense now. Flip grinned. My dad always sponsored kids when I was little. I thought it was cool. I wrote them letters and sent toys whenever I could. When I got old enough to sponsor a kid on my own, it was hard to pick just one. So I figured, why not? I can afford a few more. Yeah, but when TJ and I visited your office... You mean when you broke into my office? I looked over at my dad, who was snoozing in the seat next to me. I never told him about that time when TJ's older sister Brienne took us to Flip's office to spy on him. Okay, I whispered. When we broke in, we saw pictures of 200 sponsored kids on your wall. Like I said, it was hard to pick. The woman sitting next to Flip, the person I had known as Fawn, my bossy personal assistant at Swiftriver Shoes, spoke up. I always remember Dad saying that God cares more about what we give than what we have. Flip's and Fawn's dad was some guy named Drake Stevens, a famous millionaire and real estate developer from New York. I say was because he's dead now. He was killed by some nasty people in his own company, who I guess wanted his money. If he was as generous as Flip says he was, why didn't they just ask him for the money? No need to kill the guy. I turned my suspicious glance toward Fawn. And your real name is Samantha Stevens, sister of him? I raised my eyebrows and pointed to Flip. Shocking, I know, Flip said as he ran his fingers through his dark brown, perfect model hair. I'm sure you're thinking, how did the brother get all the brains and charm, leaving his poor sister with nothing but a bad temper and a horrible taste in clothing? No, Fawn said. I'm sure Riley was wondering how I've managed to put up with such a goofball for a little brother all my life. Isn't that right, Riley? You guys are starting to sound like me and Brady. Brady's my little brother, who's not so much a goofball, but a genius who sometimes, okay, lots of times, gets on my nerves. So, I continued. You changed your identities to escape the bad guys. I get that. But then you moved to Fresno to start an outdoor shoe company? Why? Fawn shrugged. Because we like adventure. She hardly got those words out of her mouth when the plane jolted. Hard. My lemonade glass flew off the tray in front of me and spilled out onto my shoes. Great. That would leave a sticky mess. Good thing I had about 100 backup pairs in my luggage. Flip straightened his chair and buckled his seatbelt, then yelled up to our pilot. What happened, Tyler? You just clip a mountain or something? No, Tyler yelled back. Just some turbulence. Everything's under control. I couldn't see Tyler's face, but he sounded calm. The plane bumped again. Good thing there was nothing left to spill. My dad, who was now awake and reading a fishing magazine, had a concerned look on his face. Flip, how well do you know this pilot? I know what you're thinking, Mr. Hart, and you can relax. I've known Tyler for a long time. He'd never sell us out. What's that mean? I asked. It means we can trust him to keep us safe, Dad said. I looked out the window of the plane and tried to guess where we were. No clues yet, since we were above the clouds.